We are 1 week away from Labor Day. This morning, TV6's Ansley Watson is in the Copper Country learning more about why this is a special day to celebrate. So we'll be joining Ansley right now. Good morning.
Good morning, Vicki. I'm in Calumet, up in the Keweenaw Peninsula, where majority of copper mining has taken place. I'm standing in the Visitor Center for the Keweenaw National Historical Park, where we're going to learn all about the history behind the unions for copper mining and all that entailed. I know that hard, laborsome work happened here at the mines until they closed down in the 1960s. So we're going to talk all about that in the park and how that coincides with Labor Day later in the hour. Reporting live in Calumet, Ansley Watson, TV6 News.
Thank you very much, Ansley. And as we have posted on our Facebook page this morning, they've got talks are starting for some of the steel workers starting today in some parts of the Iron Range. Local talks here for the Upper Peninsula mines will be starting up next week. Welcome back. It's 10 after the hour. Labor Day is a national holiday recognizing the American worker. This morning, Ansley Watson is live at the Keweenaw National Historical Park talking more about the importance of Labor Day. Morning, Ansley. How's it going?
Good morning, Vicki. You know, Labor Day is a special day to recognize those and thank those who've done hard work that most of us probably couldn't do. I'm standing up here in the middle of Copper Country in Calumet in the Visitor Center for the Keweenaw National Historical Park, joined with Jeremiah Mason to talk a little bit more about copper mining and the importance of Labor Day. Good morning, Jeremiah. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for being here.
So I know that Labor Day is a very special day. Talk to us about the importance, especially in this area.
The Copper Country is one of those places where the communities here wouldn't exist without the hard work of a lot of people who came before us. It's a lot of communities across the UP are like that in mining regions and in other regions. Here in the Copper Country, we're particularly interested in the labor story because it was such an important part of what happened here in the past.
You know, we're standing in the Visitor Center where there's a lot of information surrounding us about mining and everything that had to do. So what would people learn if they came here?
Well, we certainly encourage people to come to the Visitor Center. Not only do we talk about the labor story, but we talk about the other aspects of life in the community, in copper mining communities, Calumet in particular. There are different parts of the exhibit that talk about community life, the life of the company in the community, professional life, leisure time, faith communities, education and Americanization, immigration, all of these important aspects of our story.
Why did the mines shut down?
In the 1960s, most of the mines shut down primarily because of economic reasons. This is a hard rock mining area, which means the shafts are very deep underground, and it costs a lot of money to get the copper out of the ground here. And out west and in South America, the mines were having trouble competing with mines there that were able to mine copper much more cheaply. They could do open pit mines, they could do a lot of other things more cheaply than could be done here. That's the primary reason. There are a lot of contributing factors as well.
Great. All right, so we're standing in the Visitor Center, a lot of information to see, to talk about. So later in the hour, we'll be back to discuss the importance of Labor Day and all that it has to do. Reporting live in Calumet, Ansley Watson, TV6 News.
Great. Thank you very much, Ansley. What's that sign behind you say? Does that say we want work, peace, and not agitation? I can't quite read it. And not agitations. Okay, that's that. Oh, arbitrations. Okay. I couldn't quite make out the sign. Thank you. You know, and really and truly, that's a big part of it. If you're trying to make plans for Labor Day and you want to give a little education to the kids about the history of the Upper Peninsula and how the workers really and truly did struggle, that's a great place to
Welcome back.
check.
Well, of course, the national holiday is drawing near, and that's Labor Day. So we're joined by Ansley Watson to help shed a little light about the significance of the day. How's it going, Ansley?
Sam, I am standing at the hub of Copper Country here. I'm in Calumet at the Keweenaw National Historical Park, where we've been learning a ton about the laborsome work that miners have done here, while they lived here back in the 60s and before that. We talked earlier about Labor Day and the importance of it, especially in this area. So joining me live to talk more about Labor Day and being in this area is Jeremiah Mason. So good morning. Thank you again for being with us.
Good morning. Thank you. Thanks for being here as we're getting ready for Labor Day coming up next Monday. Here at Keweenaw National Historical Park, we're very aware not only of the hard work that went on underground, but also the work that went into forming communities here in the Keweenaw Peninsula. When it was just a wilderness, there was a lot of effort that went into forming a community that would support mining endeavors. The company had a lot to do with that too. They wanted to attract a stable workforce, so they built a community that would attract family men to work in the mines, and of course that community needed a lot of other people to support the mining activity as well. The company didn't provide things like stores, but they did provide land for that commercial activity to happen. They provided housing for their workforce, they provided schools, all those sorts of things that would attract the sorts of workers that they wanted to have here in the Keweenaw.
We're standing in front of a massive drill here. This thing is huge. It looks kind of, I don't know, scary to use almost. So there must have been some risks while copper mining. Talk about those.
Sure, definitely. Underground work was very dangerous. About one person per week on average was lost working underground in the copper mines here. The companies considered that a cost of doing business. Some of the workers, of course, considered that to be a reason to fight for better working conditions. And that's a big part of why the unions gained a foothold here, was because people were interested in bettering working conditions. A lot of those things might have happened. Some things happened even during the strike, even though the unions were not, during the strike in 1913, even though the unions were not successful in being recognized by the companies. A lot of the things that they advocated for, the companies did start to do anyway. Here at the park, in the National Park Service in general, we're not interested really in telling people what they should think, but we do suggest things that people could think about. And the labor question is one thing. It's one of those sort of contested histories, and we're very interested in helping people to see what happened in the past and what that means for us today and how the two relate.
I know that the loss of the copper mines has affected this area. How has it affected this area?
Oh, definitely, yeah. This was a mining community. It was very much a single industry town, and the companies were interested in keeping it that way for the most part. Of course, there were other things going on here, but not on the scale that mining happened here. And the companies didn't want another large-scale industry like that would be competing for resources and workforce and things like that. And so when the mines shut down, all of a sudden, the community was left without its main means of employment and the main economic driver in the area. So the copper country has been sort of depressed economically for a long time since the mines have closed. But there is a new effort to, especially in terms of tourism, to tell the stories of what happened here now.
And then real quick, if people come here on Labor Day, what will they find?
Yeah, we encourage people to come here to the Visitor Center. We encourage people to visit our partner sites like the Coppertown Mining Museum, where there's an exhibit about Big Annie, a leader in the 1913 strike. Also to visit the Italian Hall site here in Calumet as well.
Great, thank you so much for being with us today. Reporting live in Calumet, Ansley Watson. We'll be back with more of your TV6 Morning News after the break.